This is Dan Dicks here reporting for Press for Truth with breaking news. Alberta judge green lights euthanasia for 27-year-old autistic woman despite objections from her dad, who says she's healthy and just vulnerable due to mental health problems. So here we have a Calgary judge ruling that a 27-year-old can go ahead with MAID despite the father's concerns. So essentially, Canada is now euthanizing autistic people, and a father has discovered that he is powerless to stop his perfectly healthy daughter from being killed. Folks, there is a death cult in Canada that is growing at an exponential rate right now. In fact, the numbers are tripling every year here in Canada since the MAID program was initiated in 2015. And in fact, Canada is now breaking euthanasia records once again, up 34% on the year to date. So as I said, things are growing at an exponential rate, and now they are quite literally euthanizing autistic people against the wishes of their parents. Guys, we're going to talk about all of this and much, much more in this video. But really quickly before we do, guys, I'd ask that you check me out here at subscribestar.com/pressfortruth. Here you can sign up for $5 a month, $10 a month, $20 a month, whatever is within your means is very greatly appreciated. This is a reoccurring monthly contribution to Press for Truth and my efforts here. So if you do appreciate my efforts to bring you this info, please check that top link in the description below to where you can join me at subscribestar.com/pressfortruth. All right, guys, this isn't an isolated incident. There's similar things happening elsewhere in the world. A physically healthy Dutch woman, 28 years old, has decided to be euthanized due to crippling depression. A physically healthy 28-year-old Dutch woman has decided to legally end her life due to her struggles with crippling depression, autism, and borderline personality disorder, according to a report. So this poor young woman here said that she decided to go for euthanasia when her doctors told her, quote, "There's nothing more we can do for you. It's never gonna get any better," they told her. In terms of her depression, there's nothing we can ever do. You are only ever gonna be depressed for the rest of your life. Suicide is your only option. This is absolutely insane that, this would be happening in this day and age. But as I said, this is an ongoing problem, and it's not just, Canada that's doing this. In fact, there's a large growing number of countries who are getting in on this euthanasia program. I started covering this extensively back in 2020, guys, with this video exclusive. Canadian government forced killings of the elderly at Adult's Hospice Society exposed. A really important video. Then I followed up with this one. The government steals this care home property for refusing to kill their patients. Then I put this one out. The Canadian government is pushing death via medically assisted suicides at an alarming rate. And then I put this one out. MAID Unleashed. Canada wants to legalize medically assisted suicides for drug addicts. And in this video back from October of 2023, I pointed out that the Canadian government is also seeking to add persons suffering solely from mental illness to the list of eligible Canadians, which includes people who are addicted to drugs. And essentially, we're already there, folks. We had the cancer patients to be damned. This is medically assisted murder, not assistance in dying. There was a grieving family in BC who was speaking out about their cancer patient awaiting treatment, family member who chose MAID because of these long, wait times. And then I finally followed that up with the fact that there is a resistance to be made, and they are being challenged by death cult activists. Here I mentioned in 2024, the Canadian government is scheduled to officially extend the eligibility of those whose only illness is a mental disorder, ladies and gentlemen. And now we're already there. Canada is now set to euthanize autistic people. So check this out, guys. A Calgary judge has just issued a warning that clears the way for a 27-year-old woman to receive medical assistance in dying despite her father's attempts through the courts to prevent that from happening. A publication ban is protecting their identities, so they're going to refer to the daughter as MV and the father as WV. The judge acknowledged that there's going to be profound grief, that the father is going to suffer here at the death of his child, but he says it's the daughter's autonomy which is more important. MV's dignity and right to self-determination outweighs the important matters raised by the father and the harm that he's going to suffer at losing his daughter, the judge wrote. Though I find that the father has raised serious issues, I conclude that the daughter's autonomy and dignity interest outweighs the competing considerations. So obviously they're going to, appeal this decision because she's quite literally, healthy generally. The father says he believes his daughter is vulnerable and is not competent to make this decision to take her own life, according to this summary of the father's position. He says that she's generally healthy and believes that her physical symptoms, to the extent that she has any, results from undiagnosed psychological conditions. Her only known diagnosis described in the court earlier this month are autism and ADHD. On March 11th, when MV's lawyers asked the judge to set aside interim injunctions, WV's counsel asked for the injunction to continue and for a judicial review to be ordered that would examine how the daughter obtained this, approval for MAID. And that's another important part of this. None of that is being revealed. The father is trying to request, what exactly did she say are the reasons for why she wants to kill herself? And they're saying that is essentially none of his business. Now, here's where things get really wild, folks. They actually brought in a tie-breaking doctor. Because in case you didn't know, in order to get approved for MAID in Canada, you have to have 2 doctors sign off on this to get, approval to be killed by the government. And in this girl's case, she didn't get that. In fact, 2 times she applied for this and didn't get it. So they went ahead and issued a 3rd tie-breaking doctor to just make sure she was going to get accepted to be killed. Currently, 2 doctors or nurse practitioners have to approve a patient for MAID. Fees be heard that 2 doctors were initially approached by MV. One agreed to sign off on approving her for MAID, and the other denied this application. A 3rd tie-breaking doctor, as described by lawyers, was then offered to MV. The father took issue with this because the 3rd doctor who signed off on this MAID approval was not independent or objective. And it's even crazier than that, guys. As this video article here points out, MV's case gives a disturbing insight into just how easy it can be to access MAID. Patients can simply shop around for doctors who are willing to give their approval. So here's where things are wild. Her first application was turned down because one of the 2 doctors that she consulted said that she did not meet the criteria. It's not known when she made this application. Now, she made a second application in 2023, and again, one of the doctors determined she's not eligible to do this, and the other did not. Now, here's the crazy part, guys. The Alberta Health Services then allowed her to obtain a 3rd tie-breaking doctor. However, the doctor selected to break the tie was the same doctor who had already agreed with the first MAID application. Are you kidding me? So she applies for MAID. One doctor says, nope, you are not eligible to have yourself killed here. And one says, yeah, you are. That doesn't work. You need 2. So she tries again. Let's apply. One doctor and 2 new people. One says, nope, you can't do it. The other says, yes, you can. So they bring on a 3rd doctor who just so happens to be the one from the first application who already approved this. Guys, this is an absolute, unbelievably blatant plan to just kill people. And if you think this is about compassion, I mean, what about the father here who is pleading for the life of his daughter? It's absolutely insane, ladies and gentlemen. So the court agreed that MB has no obligation to answer any of her parents' questions about her medical condition or the MAID process. The judge declared that even the court cannot review a MAID applications, decision-making, or the clinical judgment of the doctors or the nurse practitioners because of medical privacy laws. Her parents can never know why 2 of the doctors felt that it was acceptable for the state to euthanize their daughter. Life and death decisions are being made in secret by unaccountable figures. So assistants in dying campaigners are often claiming that they are on the side of compassion, but stopping a father from saving his daughter's life is surely the cruelest outcome possible. Anyone who still believes that euthanasia prevents suffering needs to seriously think again. And I would point you back to this interview I did with Angelina Ireland, and she is pretty much leading the charge here in Canada to resist MAID, and they literally sent out death cult activists to try to essentially have her shut down, guys. In this video, Dan Dicks of Press for Truth speaks with Angelina Ireland from the Delta Hospice Society about her fight against MAID, how the government took her property for refusing to do MAID, and then sent death cult activists to shut her down, but that did not stop her fight for life. There is a resistance to MAID, and they need your support, guys. So I want to encourage you to watch this exclusive interview if you have not yet. And go check out the Delta Hospice Society, who are leading the charge here to fight for this. Just say no to MAID. Our Do Not Euthanize directive speaks for life in any situation. You can order your legal Do Not Euthanize D&E Advanced Directive today to prevent having a loved one's life terminated unnaturally. I will put a link to this and all of these sources of information in the description below, guys, but just wanted to bring all of this to your attention. They're essentially already setting up to kill autistic people in Canada. This is exactly what I was warning about, way back in this video from last year. But essentially, we're here. This Canada judge brought in the tiebreaker, and despite the father's concerns here, they're going to go through with this. Absolutely shocking. Don't forget, there is a resistance to MAID. They do need your help. Please check the link in the description below to where you can join the Delta Hospice Society and contribute to their efforts to fight for life moving forward. So just wanted to bring all that to your attention today, guys. Please don't forget to check me out here at subscribestar.com/pressfortruth if you do appreciate my efforts to bring you this info. And that's all for today, guys. I want to thank you once again for tuning in. Please share this video with your friends and family. Click that thumbs up button. And stay tuned, guys. We're going to have more video reports coming soon, God willing. This is Dan Dicks reporting for Press for Truth. We all want truth. The truth will set you free.